Hello, we have developed a 3D endless runner game for our natural user interaction coursework, and this has been developed by three members, Drona Banerjee, Siddharth Jain, and Sautrik Paul. Let me walk you through the application. So we're running this on an Android on an Android device, and this is the icon for our game. So let me brief you about the game and how it works. So the objective of the game is to make the player go as far as possible in the path, and here is the score, and the score keeps increasing by 1 in every 0.5 seconds. And throughout the course of the game, the player comes across various kinds of obstacles randomly. There are two kinds of obstacles that we have. For one, we need to slide down and go beneath the obstacle in order to avoid it, and the other kind of obstacle can be avoided by jumping. So throughout the game, we have implemented various gestures to avoid all these obstacles and keep the player alive in the game. So the gestures are we swipe up to make the player jump, we slide down to make the player slide beneath the obstacles primarily, and we swipe right to make the player turn right, and we swipe left to make the player turn left. And we have implemented couple of accelerometer based gestures. So when we tilt the phone left, the player sways left, and when we tilt the player right, the player sways right. So let us play the game and show you the gestures. So we tap to start, and since I'm tilting the phone, this is the accelerometer based gesture at work. So we swipe up to avoid the gesture, swipe down, swipe left, and we swipe up. And I did not swipe up in time, so the player falls. Another thing to mention here is the platforms in the path of the player is generated randomly. We have a platform spawner script which generates the path for the player, and it goes left and right randomly. So based on that, we have to use the gestures to keep the player on the path, and the obstacles in the path are also generated randomly. And we have 4 corners where basically we need to use the gestures to navigate the player to keep it on the path and avoid the player touching the fence or falling down in the pitfalls that we have where we do not have a platform. So let's play again. We start. So if we touch the fence, the game is over. Let me show that. So we touch the fence and the player falls. Now I'll touch an obstacle and show how the game gets over. So here's an obstacle, and if I do not slide down, the game is over. So the player falls down. I'll be showing the slide down gesture. So we see the obstacle here. Now if we slide down, that's the only way we can avoid this obstacle. We slide down the obstacle and we are safe. The game goes on and the score on the top keeps increasing. Now we jump. That's a swipe up gesture. We did not jump in time, so the player falls. I'll do the swipe up gesture again. So we swipe down here, we swipe down again, we take a right with the right swipe gesture, and now we jump. and now we swipe down, and now we take a right, we jump, oh, we did not jump in time, and since the player touched the obstacle, and the game is over. Now I'll show a bit about the accelerometer based gestures that we have implemented. So if I sway right, if I tilt the phone left, the player sways left, and if I tilt the phone right, the player sways right. We plan to implement gems and diamonds in the path, so that the game is more interesting, and the accelerometer gem based gestures will come in handy and make the game more interesting in that case.